Sean Pickett with Sales Integrity here. Thank you for listening to the Sales Integrity Podcast. I created a free course for you titled 7 Steps to Master the Game of Complex Technical Selling. To claim your free course, just visit mastercomplexselling.com. Again, that's mastercomplexselling.com, or simply text the word SI course to the number 44222. Again, that's SI as in Sales Integrity. So SI course, all one word with no space in between SI and course. Otherwise, you'll get an error message back. So simply text the word SI course to the number 44222. Now let's jump into the podcast. As someone who named their company Sales Integrity, I am asked all the time what it truly means to be a professional who has sales integrity. I was very purpose-driven in naming my company Sales Integrity to provoke this very discussion. Years ago, when I was coming up through the sales ranks in the technology industry, the selling profession would get a bad name. This phenomenon even occurs for today's modern salesperson who is experiencing the ever-shifting perception of a salesperson's value, mainly due to more informed and better educated buyers who do their own research using the internet. As a salesperson, you would hear phrases like, never trust a salesperson, or he or she sold me a bill of goods, or he or she sells snake oil, or the grand poobah of all sales slams, he or she acts like a used car salesman. Poor used car salespeople. They truly take the brunt of this negative perception, even though there are a lot of great people selling used cars. So when people asked me what I did for a living in social situations, sometimes I would get funny looks after I said I was in sales in the technology industry. They heard the word sales first and then tuned out. The ones that didn't tune out would like to make condescending remarks about the sales profession just to joke around about it. Of course, being in sales, I had thick skin and didn't let any of it bother me. However, in my mind, I immediately went to work on answering this question. How can I change the perception of salespeople in the eyes of the general public who didn't dedicate their lives to the profession? More importantly, how could I improve the perception of salespeople in a B2B complex technical sales world in the eyes of the prospects and customers? Because they truly matter to me the most. The answer was simple for me at the time when I was a technology salesperson: through my behavior. So I started to look at myself as a sales professional and not simply as a sales rep or a salesperson. So I started changing my internal dialogue about my profession so I would ingrain it in the very core of my being to take my profession more seriously. I just knew that would shine through in my behavior when I was interacting with prospects and customers, because I would see myself differently in a more positive light. You see, the most important conversation you will ever have is the ongoing internal dialogue you have with yourself. Once I mastered my internal dialogue, I then started changing the way I communicated my profession to others. When asked what I did for a living, I would say, I help technology executives at mid-market to enterprise level companies leverage technology as a strategic business tool. The response was usually, really? Wow, that seems impressive. How do you do that? Then I go on to tell them through the implementation of our custom software solutions. And that would usually spark a lengthier discussion. At no time was I focused on the fact that I sell for a living. It was more focused on how I help my customers. It was truly customer-centric. That caused me to look at my entire sales game differently. That is when I came up with my funded entrepreneur concept of how I looked at myself as a sales professional. If you're not familiar with that concept, then you should go back and listen to episode number 1 of the Sales Integrity Podcast titled Salesperson or Funded Entrepreneur. I dedicated an entire episode to this concept and made it my very first episode ever for this podcast. That's how important I feel it is for a sales professional to learn and apply it to their own sales game. Simply put, I didn't see myself as a full-time employee that was a sales rep. I saw myself as running my own sales business within an enterprise that was funded by my employer, who acted as my venture capitalist. Go back and listen to episode number 1 to hear the rest of that story, as it can help you change your inner dialogue and how you view your sales career in general. So getting back to the core topic of today's podcast episode, what does it mean to truly have sales integrity as a sales professional? And furthermore, why did I name my company after this concept? Well, towards the end of my tenure being a full-time sales professional in the tech industry working for an employer, I would consistently hear the same feedback from my clients and the companies we partnered with. It would go something like this: Sean, I like the way you sell. You are different than most of the salespeople I deal with. You do what you say you will do and always make things right when something goes astray. You really sell with integrity. To me, aside from loving that positive feedback as a testament to the hard work I put into conducting myself the right way by demonstrating integrity, I really like the sound of the phrase sell with integrity. That was during the same time I knew in the very near future I would launch my own business dedicated to serving the sales profession as a sales coach, consultant, and trainer. So I played around with the different elements of that sell with integrity concept and came up with the company name of Sales Integrity. I launched that company in May of 2004. This would be my focus and main mantra moving forward. This became my life purpose as it relates to my professional and entrepreneurial cause. So when I first launched my company, I would introduce myself as Sean Pickett, founder and CEO of Sales Integrity. You can bet that I got a lot of funny looks and smart butt remarks such as, "Isn't that an oxymoron? You really can't be in sales and have integrity, can you?" Why, yes, I would say. And let me demonstrate how. That was a great door opener or conversation icebreaker for me to go to work on demonstrating that there are high quality individuals in the profession of sales. And for those that didn't demonstrate it or know how or weren't trained to do so, there I was to help improve that situation by teaching them my sales integrity philosophy. So to wrap this up, what is the actual definition of the word integrity? In the dictionary, it says the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles, moral uprightness. When I ask people, I know what their definition of the word integrity is. I typically hear a very similar popular response that is not necessarily attributed to anyone famous, but many famous people say it, which is this: integrity is doing the right thing even when no one is watching. I'm sure you've heard that one before, right? Well, both those definitions are really good definitions of the word integrity. In terms of my definition of integrity, and more specifically what it truly means to have sales integrity, it is a two-part definition with each part being one side of the same coin. So they work hand in hand with one another. You can't have one without the other in the game of selling complex technical products, services, and solutions, or in the selling profession in general, just like you can't only have one side of a coin. That definition is this: always doing the right things and always doing those right things the right way. I could spend more time identifying what those right things are as a B2B tech sales professional, which are really the components of your sales game plan. I could also spend more time describing the right way to do each one of those right things. However, that will have to wait to another episode because we are out of time today. I just wanted to cue up the discussion of what it truly means to have sales integrity as a sales professional. So in the meantime, I hope today's Mindset Monday episode caused you to re-examine your sales game and contemplate on this concept of sales integrity to determine if there are any areas of your sales game in need of improvement. Think in terms of preparation, organization, and productivity. Start there. What are all the key elements involved with each concept within the Make Your Sales Pop mindset mantra, of which we addressed on the second Mindset Monday episode of this podcast. So go back and listen to that one if you haven't already, but POP obviously is an acronym, and that stands for preparation, organization, and productivity. So if you are not taking the time to prepare for key aspects of selling, which allows you to become better organized and more productive as a sales professional, then you should start there. If you find that you consistently are feeling overwhelmed because your weekly mode of operating tends to be flying by the seat of your pants, winging it on a daily basis, and therefore severely mismanaging your time, then you are most likely not demonstrating that you have sales integrity. Start there, and then the answer becomes obvious on what you can improve upon to truly be a sales professional who demonstrates sales integrity. Now, let's wrap up today's episode with a few reminders. First, we recently launched 2 new B2B tech sales professional groups, one on LinkedIn and one on Facebook. Just search for B2B tech sales professionals on either LinkedIn or Facebook, or both if you want to join both groups, and join the conversation with your peers there. Second, if you haven't already subscribed to our free 7-day video email course titled 7 Steps to Master the Game of Complex Technical Selling, then you can do so by visiting mastercomplexselling.com. Again, that's mastercomplexselling.com, or you can text the word SI course, so as in sales integrity, SI course, all one word with no spacing in between. If you send it with a space between SI and course, you'll receive an error message back. So text the word SI course to the number 44222. After subscribing, we will send you your first lesson via email right away on day 1, and then one for the next 6 days. Third, if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to this podcast on iTunes or SoundCloud. Just search for the Sales Integrity Podcast with Sean Pickett, and it should pop up and allow you to subscribe on one of those 2 channels. After you subscribe, please provide a quick 5-star rating and simple 1 to 2 sentence review to help others find the show. To provide a review on iTunes isn't as simple as you think. You can't do so directly within the podcast. What you have to do is actually click on the search icon, then type in Sales Integrity, and you will see my podcast there. Now, I'm referring to the purple podcast icon. When you click on that on your iPhone, brings up the main podcast center. Down below, you'll see the search icon. So click on that, type in Sales Integrity, and you'll see the podcast there. Click on the podcast. In it, you'll see the reviews tab in the middle there. Just click on that. And once there, you could provide a 5-star rating and simple 1 or 2 sentence review. Now, since iTunes prioritizes shows with the most ratings and reviews higher than those that have just a few of them, this will dramatically help the show be found by more people. So I greatly appreciate it. And finally, please share the podcast with your colleagues and friends who would find it relevant. You can do so by going to salesintegrity.com and click on the Sales Integrity Podcast menu link at the top of the page. All of the podcasts are there, and it provides you a way to click a button and share any episode, whether via email directly to individuals, or there's buttons there to share it on the various social media sites, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, etc. So I would greatly appreciate it if you spread the word about the show on social media to help grow it. And finally, that'll do it for today's episode. Now go out there in the sales world today and help your prospects and customers buy what they want, what they need, and what benefits them. And most importantly, go out there and make it a great day.